Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's program, The Roundtable. My name is Isa Nuhu. Today, we are going to be looking at women and girls' involvement in ICT. As you all know, technology in its various forms, including information and communication technology as ICTs, continues to redefine and revolutionize the way we all live and work. Harnessing this technology to advance gender equality and women's empowerment is not only vital for women and girls, but critical throughout the 2013 agenda for the Sustainable Development Goal. Despite the growing demand for information and communication technology professionals, women still trail their male counterparts in terms of pay, leadership roles, and representation in the digital sector. The World Economic Forum Global Gender Report 2021 suggests that only 14% of those working in cloud computing and 20% of engineers are women, and 32% of the data and artificial intelligence professionals are women. These disparities are concerning, not least because technology-related careers arguably dominate today's job market. Moreover, the underrepresentation of women means their voices are absent from decision-making when it comes to designing our digital society. Many of the causes of the imbalances stem from social norms, stereotypes, and values cultivated in childhood and adolescence. Barriers blocking gender equality in the technology sector arises early in life, with the lack of visible female role models in the ICT field playing a key part. A report from the UNICEF and the International Telecommunication Union towards an equal future reimagining girls' education through STEM finds that globally only 18% of girls in tertiary education are pursuing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, compared to 35% of boys. In a similar vein, only 3% of female students would consider a career in technology as their first choice, according to the joint report. As we move further into the information age, women and men need to be equally represented as shapers of our increasingly digital world. One way to inspire and empower girls and young women is to showcase success stories. So our discussion will center on this based on the foundation we've laid with respect to the ICT, looking at the role of women in that particular sector. And today, we'll be joined via Skype by one of the Microsoft Innovative Educator in person of Abdul Mukit Hussein, who will be joining us from Kaduna State. And also, we'll be having Suleiman Mariam Aliu, who will be joining us from Zaria. She's also an IT expert. And in the studio with us this morning is Fatima Muhammad, who is also an IT expert. So we'll be discussing this together with these three guests of ours this morning. So we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll kick up with the conversation.
The challenge of Nigeria as a free state in 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. Nigerians believe passionately in the fundamental human rights. We regard all races of the human family as equal. Under no circumstance shall we accept the idea that the black race is inferior to any other race. I appeal to all our leaders, far and near, to forget the wounds which were inflicted in cause of our internecine altercation. The love of our country should outweigh the love of our petty selves. The enjoyment of individual freedom under the law should mean more to us than our self-centered party programs and manifestos. Common dangers and common enemies alert us on the need for common security. Come and join Abubakar with me, Sadauna, Awolowo, Akitala, Ofarebe, Okpara, Ikoku, Aminu Kano, Ibrahim Imam, and Saka. Let us bind the nation's wound and let us heal the breaches of the past so that in forging our nation, there shall emerge on this continent a hate-free, fear-free, and greed-free people who shall be in the vanguard of a world task force whose assignment is not only to revive the stature of man in Africa, but to restore the dignity of man in the world.
please give us the permission to search you? You can go.
Is this a movie? If it happened...
Officer, I beg carry and go station. When our Oga come, you come meet her for there.
Hey, Mr. Man, I cannot do that.
Tell your Oga to come to our station when he returns.
Am I in a movie? If it happen,
Mama, please. Mama, please. Thank God you're here. Do the needful.
Mama, please, just 3 weeks,
Madam, why did you invite us to come help chase your tenant now?
This is a civil matter now.
Is this a movie? If it happen,
If we follow
The new police law.
Welcome back. I did say before the break that our focus and our expectations is that why are we having low female turnout into the ICT world? You know, we have the hardware, we have the software, those developing the applications, so many applications, but then are we really seeing the girls or the women in that particular sector? So just like I told you earlier on, we have Fatima Muhammad, who is also an ICT expert and here with us. Fatima, you're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's nice having you this morning. I'm coming to the program to discuss more about the ICT world. And also we have our, the second guest, who is also on Skype this morning to have this conversation with us, making it a triangular kind of discussion this morning. So I don't know, are we having Suleiman Mariam Aliyu on Skype this morning? Okay. Pending when the connection is being established, we would like to have Suleiman Mariam Aliyu to join us. Okay, we have Abdul Mukit Hussein this morning. So, Abdul Mukit, you are welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hello, and Miss Fatima.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Abdul Mukit, so this morning, our major concern has always been with the issue of women in ICT. You've been a major educator for the Microsoft Innovative Platform, and you've been training women across the country, most especially those that are in the higher institution and those that are outside of it, trying to get them in line with what is happening today in the country. So what is your take generally on women and participation in the ICT world?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hussein Abdul Mukit. I am a Microsoft Innovative Educator trainer and ICT trainer as well, and instructional technologist. Basically, as the question arose that what can we say on the participation of women in terms of ICT? Basically, talking in ICT generally, the population of women is very, very low. In terms of ICT participation, basically, we have challenges whereby you see mostly the male gender are more dominant in terms of participation. We mostly have a few participation by women. For example, in respect to the program in which Mr. Nuhu just mentioned, in 2021, around October, we had an international conference which is for the educators, which is training them on Microsoft Innovative Educator, in which they are going to be certified digital teachers or educators. We tried to take participants from all over the country here in Nigeria. We had participation from both in Kaduna and even outside Kaduna. But to our dismay, the population of male is still dominant. In fact, triple, if not more. We had about only 20% to 18 to 20% participation of women, which is very low. Not only that, we have some series of programs which we also had for ICT. Even during the university years, there was one we do in the ICT hub, which is for the ABU. we try to teach them, we try to coach them on ICT usage, on these basic softwares that are being needed for a 21st century learner, which is the spreadsheet, the graphic design, the using of Excel, which is for the data analysis and so on. But to our dismay, we trained by then about 375 people, but only 40 were female. You see, the male are actually predominant. So we are actually facing challenges in terms of participation of women, and it is very, very low. For this question, I think this is what I can say for now. The participation is very low, and we ought to work towards that, and even the government need to work towards that, and even the educational sectors need to work towards that in seeing that is being increased. Well.
Okay, I'm listening carefully to, or let me say, I've listened carefully to all you've stated, and looking at what you stated based on your experiences when you try as much as possible to educate people with the ICT skills. But then, during the course of our discussion, unfortunately, we had your video just got frozen, sorry, and we couldn't see the motion part of it. We only heard your voice. So we hope you'll be able to correct that while we still continue the conversation with our guest in the studio. You've really raised a major concern, taking care of about 350 students or persons to be trained on Microsoft innovative platform. And then we have just about roughly 15% to attend in terms of the female population. This is not the best for us. But let me come back to Fatima Muhammad, who is also an IT expert, to give us our own side of the story. You are a young lady growing up in the society, and we've seen you also doing so much with respect to the ICT. Mm-hmm. Now, what is your take generally when you look at the statistics that Hussein has just given us with respect to women participation in ICT?
Okay, so obviously it's actually disheartening, the percentage of women who are actually in ICT. But then the problem didn't start now. It's in the beginning. It's actually a stereotypical problem that started in the beginning because of the ideology that a math or science skill is a boy's field and not a female field. So a lot of young females grew up with that ideology that I shouldn't be an engineer, this is not my business, this is not my concern. And because of that, they grow up and they don't have like relationship with this field. So because of that, a lot of the percentage of women who are actually supposed to be in tech is reducing. And if you look at the statistics, a lot of statistics will show that females are actually they have higher grades in science and in math. But in the end, they don't pursue those fields. This is because of the stereotype we already have on ground that this field is a male-based field. Also, there's lack of role models. I believe he mentioned that also. The idea of lack of role model, okay, we minimize the importance of having role models in any field in general. There's a minimization of the importance of role model. Okay, let's take, for instance, footballers. Young ones, the young guys, they see the Messis and the Ronaldos, and they are inspired and they want to be like them. But then females, let's come back to tech now. Females in tech, we don't have these role models. We don't see these people and say, oh, okay, I want to be like this person. I'm inspired by this person. I want to be like this person. But thankfully, now in the ecosystem, it's changing because if you're active on the social media scene, on LinkedIn and on Twitter, you see a lot of females who are in the tech industry who are making impacts, who are breaking the boundaries and doing a lot of amazing things. And I believe if we start now and start initiating young girls to tech and start making them believe that they can do this and giving them exposure to see these amazing women who are doing amazing things, they can be inspired to participate more in tech.
But then I don't know, because for some time now, if you go to places where technology are being sold, and then you see that most of the people that are dominating it are basically men. And as a result of that, so the question definitely will always arise. But then let us see if we can get our other guest, if the guest is now connected to our Skype platform. Okay, we still have Abdul Mukit now. Abdul Mukit, back to you. So now, looking at all what we are doing presently now, and then you being one of the major pushers to see that, yes, we have more women in that particular field, what are the things you are doing differently with respect to the issue of women and girls in ICT? Fatima just stated just now that sometimes it could boil down to the courses they offered, mathematics and science, other science courses. And if you see, women also do perform wonders in these courses. And at the end of the day, they end up not following up when it comes to the issue of the ICT. What's your take on it?
Okay, thank you once again for the opportunity. Despite the network is a bit having a problem and I couldn't get more problem. But if I can get your question is, what is my take on the next step to take in order to enhance the female participation in ICT? I guess that is what we're trying to. All right. Basically, one of the suggestion or one of the recommendation I'm going to give on issue of female participation in ICT. Number one is issue of sensitization. We need to sensitize our women on issue of ICT. Not only sensitizing them on the ICT world, but as well bringing them closer in all.
Or it seems we are having a network. Okay, he's back, but still the network issue. I hope when that is fixed, he will join us to lay his point better. Are you getting me, Abdul Mukit?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Okay, you can continue with your conversation.
What I'm trying to say is we need to sensitize our women in where they fit into ICT. Not only telling them about ICT, sometimes we have to let them understand that this is the best way they fit into ICT. For example, let's take the issue of Nigeria, or let's first take the issue of our zone, which is the northerners. For example, we know there is religious barrier and ethnicity issue in terms of inclusion of women in education and even ICT at large. What we're trying to say is when we get this type of women, we try to sensitize them. We try to tell them that, okay, ICT doesn't need you to go far away. Even inside your room, you can make ICT your friend. You can learn through ICT. You can as well make you can make your phones through ICT. You can even impact the society through ICT. For example, we have now the distance learning. The distance learning is a way in which women can participate in ICT. By what? By learning in their remote area or in their room at their comfort zone. And they still have that qualification even up to their professorial stage. Not only that, in terms of fund generation and sustainable development, females or women generally can as well partake. We have different fields in ICT. For example, taken from the lower side, which is maybe from the graphic design, so many ladies can get clients online by giving them their designs so that they can make money. This graphic design are making huge money. Even from the way we can see, even the TV station we are hearing today, they make use of graphic design, motion design. This.
Okay.
I think
you've really made a point there, and listening to you, definitely you've been engaged with so many activities with respect to the issue of women and girls in ICT. So let me come back to Fatima Muhammad, who is here in the studio, and I believe you'll still be there to listen to our conversation. Now, you made mention of this particular issue, of which you did mention also, the issue of cultural or religious inclination. How does this affect participation of women in ICT?
Okay, so culture and religion is a major part of any organization or any field or any industry you're going to get into. So I believe, okay, let's take Nigeria for instance. A lot of people, okay, I think access basically is the most important thing here. A lot of people, let's take Nigeria as an example. A lot of people, especially in the Southwest, have the culture they've grown up with has given them access to have freedom. They have access to learning. They have access to participating in different programs, in different things that help them grow in tech. But if you come back to the North, there's lack of those access. I don't know why it's like that, but there's lack of those access. And I believe if we want to bridge the gap as Northerners or as female developers or female engineers or female graphic designers in the North. We have to work on creating these programs for a lot of young ladies. I'll give examples of some of the programs in the Southwest, especially in Lagos. You have the She Code camp. There are a lot of programs that give access to women that actually puts women through, young girls through, to learn this thing and then watch the journey. They follow them through this journey and make sure they achieve these certain goals. But we don't have those things here in the North. And I think that is like a major issue.
But then, if I'll still take you on that before Abdul Mukit respond to this question, because if you look at it, the statistics that was doled out was a global statistics. And then when you fine-tune the same statistics to Nigeria, you discover that on average, irrespective of the zone you come from, even if you go to Lagos, for instance, you go to the computer village, you don't see women there. If you go to Banex today, how many women do you see them selling technology, selling issues that has to do, or maybe, let me say, technology in general, selling computers, developing application, gaming system, hardware or software. So you don't see more women partaking in this particular axis. And that has been our major concern, most especially at this point where we are saying that it is not just about, people don't really want to see in Africa that we're talking about gender equality, but we're talking about gender equity. So why then do we still have women not really coming out? Is it that the platform have not been fully established for people to come up? But we've seen free programs that women and men are allowed to go in, but still we don't see women there. Okay,
like what Abdul Mukit said, there's lack of sensitization. This is not just a Nigerian problem or an African problem, it's a world problem. There's a little percentage of women who are in tech. And like I said earlier, the issue revolves around role models and stereotypes. If we want to tackle this issue, I believe the best way to tackle this issue is starting from the young. Like, okay, for Nigeria, for instance, I'm going to speak on what I know as in for Nigeria. I believe the best way to tackle this issue is in the primary schools or the secondary school, they should create an extracurricular activities for the children to start learning these things at a tender age. Make them understand the importance of this thing at a tender age. Let them understand that tech is the future, and then they should encourage them to learn this thing. While growing up, at some point in school, we're given the opportunity to learn entrepreneurship. We didn't start this from like the kindergarten or from the primary school level. It was along the way they realized that entrepreneurship is an important field for, if we want to achieve, as of them, the Vision 2020, if we want to achieve a very good economy, entrepreneurship is an important field. And that's the reason why they added it to the extracurricular activities. They added it to the curriculum. I believe if we want to tackle this issue of female being in tech, we have to start from young, start from the beginning. And the best way is just create an extracurricular activities for these young ladies to join, and make sure you assist them, follow them up. Because tech, I have to say this, tech is a very intriguing field. There's no way you start it at a young age. Your brain is fresh, you're ready to learn, you're ready to take up any challenge that comes your way. When they start in a young age, they'll get intrigued and they'll get hooked. And when they are hooked, there's nothing that is going to stop them. The sky is the limit, and they will want to foresee it and reach to the end. And then there should always also be like an opportunity for them to meet, women. I don't know, maybe a school program to bring these females who are breaking boundaries, or maybe in the extracurricular activities and a documentary showing how women are breaking boundaries in this industry. It will inspire a lot of young ladies. Like, we have to be honest, like, I get inspired when I see women doing amazing things in the industry. And I believe starting young is the best. Okay,
now you've raised a major issue, and looking at women being role model in the society, most especially in the ICT sector, and looking at the issue of documentaries and the rest. You are part of those, I think, that plan to organize a particular program. I think I saw it online. And what gave you that impetus that, okay, it is time for you to organize a program like that?
because I didn't. Okay, I won't really say I didn't have that opportunity. I'm lucky I had that opportunity, but the opportunity is actually limited. Like, you actually said there are free opportunities for young ladies or to get into tech and all of that, but also, we come back to the issue of sensitization. These young ladies don't know how this thing is. They come with the idea that, oh, it's math and science, it's hard, I can't do it. But if you have the right sensitization, let them know that this thing isn't really hard. It's something you can do. This person is doing this, that person is doing this. And see where this person is today because of this thing she decided to do, this tech she decided to get into, see where she is today. She's making a difference, she's making an impact. And if you want to be like this person, make an impact or make a difference, you have to like put your head down, learn this thing, and you achieve it. And like I said, the children's brain, like when you're young, your brain is really fresh, you're ready to learn and impact and get all the knowledge you need. And then that's the reason why I feel targeting them when they're young is very, very important. And then the reason why I've actually participated in, like you said, in a program helping young ladies understand tech. Like I was teaching the basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And these ladies were very, very interested in this thing. They were intrigued. It's amazing how intrigued they were to be part of this thing. Because tech is amazing. Like you're doing something, you can always see what you're doing, and then you get hooked in it. And they were really, really into it, and they wanted to learn more. So that's like what inspires me to want to teach young ladies more, sensitize them a little bit more, and then teach them more to understand this.
Okay, let me go back to Abdul Mukit Hussein. You've been there in terms of giving or creating that platform where young men and women will have access to technology, and teaching them how to get this technology is one key aspect. If you listen carefully to what Fatima Muhammad just said, and looking at the role of role models in society, and then training these young girls by creating an hub for them to come and have discussion with respect to ICT. What do you think have been their major challenge whenever you call them up for programs like this? Okay, let me take that again. Are you getting? Okay, let me take it back. What are the major challenges you think facing women today with regards to their participation in ICT programs?
Okay, thank you. Based on the challenges we think we're facing an issue of low participation of women in ICT, firstly, we have individual challenges. Secondly, we have as well, should I say, a national challenge or the policy in terms of policy making, an issue of the challenges of the educational sector. First thing is the issue of individual challenge. The individual challenge in which I said issue of ignorance. Women don't really know that they have a lot to participate in terms of ICT. So ignorance is one of the challenges they are facing. Then the second thing is issue of fund. For you to participate in the ICT world today, you need data to be connected. Some other countries and some other institutions, they have a provision of free data, or they don't need to subscribe. But in Nigerian context, before you get connected, just like a novice into the ICT as a woman, you need some little fund in order to purchase ICT, or you need to be a business inclined person for you to get that fund. So fund is one of the issue. Then the next thing is issue of infrastructure. For you to be connected into the ICT world, the fund for sustaining or for having gadgets is one of the paramount issue as well. Some of the ladies don't really have money to buy these gadgets, for example, even for the headset, for the phone today. For at least if you're having a virtual, let's take, for example, a virtual presentation today, you need nothing less than a 4 gig RAM phone, which is a cell phone, with at least a good processor. So for you to purchase this sort of a phone, which are very important, you need nothing less than 50,000, which is something to say. Not only that, if you are buying or you're purchasing a computer that is going to assist you in your ICT endeavors, you as well need to buy a computer that has a very good processor, that has a very good RAM, and as well that also has a storage. So these are one of the challenges we are facing, and we need to tackle them. Then the next thing is issue of electricity. Electricity, as we know today, one of the problems with Nigeria is we have issue of electricity, instability of electricity. So you need to charge this your cell phones. Even you need to look, for example, as even we were saying, we were discussing earlier, we have no electricity provision. So, but now the electricity is restored. So issue of instability of electricity as well, it contributes to one of the challenges women are facing in ICT and even ICT in general. Then the next thing is issue of, should I say, female stereotype or female stigmatism. We also feel that women have restrictions. So, like for example, in Nigeria, not everything we put into female, we put female into. So this issue of female stereotype in code is one of the issues that contribute, which is attached to the ethnicity we've talked earlier, issue of religion inclination, an issue of even personal things that has to do with female hormone, for example, or female nervousness. Sorry, in quotes to use. Then one of the national challenges of policy that has to do with the policy making as well is issue of the government. The government needs to make more investment into ICT for women to participate. If not the local, despite the minister the minister who is Pantami today is trying a lot in order to engage women in ICT by as well creating more ICT centers, hub, and also the needs that as well they are trying as well, but they need to reinforce their horizons in terms of female participation. In any program they are doing, they need to have those data, how many women, why the women, and try to carry out a research why and see how can they provide a proper solution. So in terms of the national budgeting, female has to be as well included in issue of ICT, because ICT today is the major tool in the 21st century. Almost everything now is ICT.
Yeah,
ICT
for a while. And we want to go on a very short break. And please just stay on, and we'll definitely get back to you to continue this conversation. Still with me in the studio is Fatima Muhammad, who is also an ICT expert. And we'll be continuing this conversation, and hopefully we'll be joined with Suleiman Mariam, who is also an ICT expert. And then after the break, definitely for those that would like to call to add one or two voice to our conversation this morning, you will definitely get the opportunity to join your voice this morning.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we will realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of Aso Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, Aso Television Star Times Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back. We went for that break to give a pause and then have a better break towards our discussion this morning. And as I did say earlier on, we're having Fatima Muhammad, who is an ICT expert with us here in the studio. And also we have Abdul Mukit Hussein, who is a Microsoft Innovative expert, also joining us via Skype. And the number to call while we have this conversation on is 090-5740-8127. I'll take that again, 090-5740-8127. So now, before we had this plan to put up this particular topic of discussion, our major concern definitely was how we are saying, looking at the statistics. It's not a very, very good one. So, but what were your major motivation before going fully into the ICT?
Okay, so my major motivation, I have to say, is the unemployment climate in Nigeria. You can imagine finishing school and then finishing service, and you are at home for a long period of time and there's no job opportunity. But then I got introduced into tech, and like I said, I had the opportunity to see a lot of women who were doing amazing in this industry. And I'm like, okay, I think I can do this as well. So why don't I just take the challenge and then do this? There's nothing to lose. I actually studied political science in the university. Oh. So it's actually fascinates a lot of people.
ICT now you are doing it.
Yes, it actually fascinates a lot of people when I tell them I studied political science in the university, but now I am a front-end developer in a well-respected tech firm here in Abuja. So there's a lot of opportunity. That's one of my major motivation into going into tech. It's because of the opportunities that are available. There's a vast field of opportunity, especially if you're a woman. A lot of these big industries, there's this idea of creating inclusivity and diversity in their firms or in their organizations, and because of that, there's a lot of room for women. Like I had the opportunity to participate in a job interview that said they needed just females. So that's just what the climate is in the tech industry. There are some jobs that will come and say, no, they need specifically women to do this. Or there are some jobs that will come and they will say, okay, we need this kind of person to do this particular job. So basically, the opportunity is amazing. And then also the financial stability is another factor that motivated me to go into tech. And the ideology that tech is the future, it's never too late to get into it, because in the nearest future, this is what we're going to be using for most everything. You can see now as it is, there's most industries or most organizations don't store their data in cabinets any longer. They utilize the cloud, and they're storing things in the cloud. And you see a lot of organizations building their own software and building their own app. This is the growth that we are talking about. And it's better for you to get into this industry as of now, while it's growing, not when it has already grown. Yeah. And then another factor that influenced me to get into tech is the impact. There's room for you to make impact. Like the topic we are discussing today, there's limited women in tech. So there's room for women to come and inspire other women, other younger generation coming up that, oh, okay, I've been doing this, you can do this. There's room for you to make an impact and to make a difference. So those are some of the factors that influence.
Okay, let me go back to Abdul Mukit Hussein for him to really give us a well-analyzed view on why we should always catch the girls young when it comes to ICT as a profession. So, Abdul Mukit, if you listen to me very well, I want you to give us a view on how we can get these girls from the primary school, secondary school into ICT for them to make a major difference in their life.
All right. Once again, in continuation, how I think we can catch them young, the young ladies or the upcoming women. How can we get them involved into the ICT still while they're still young? Basically, we, people like you and I, have a social responsibility we need to do, which is one of the community service. You and I, that we have this opportunity of knowing.
To have a call. if let's get this call and then just listen to what the caller have to say. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Please, your name and where you are calling from. Sorry, it seems we lost the caller. The call. Sorry. We hope you can call back. The number to call is 09057408127. So, Abdulmikid, let me go back to you. So, what is your take on the last question I just asked?
My first take is, firstly, we need to reach out to this young mind. Is it a primary school or secondary school? You and I, who are learned and think that this is something that is worthwhile, we need to contribute to the society, and we need to reach out to this type of school, give them orientation, sensitize them, and as well, if you can
Caught you there. We still have the caller calling in now. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Sorry, still we're having network issue. We hope the caller can call and stay far from your TV or your radio set so that you can listen to us properly and give us your name and your location. So let me go back to Abdul Mukitu saying to give us his view about catching the girls young.
Okay. As I said, catching them young, when we go to these private and government schools, we try to reach them, and if we have the funds enough, we need to as well assist them. By what? By either from our own philanthropy, by giving them some of these gadgets, if it is free, or we can communicate or collaborate with some network providers or the ministries or the commissioners or so on, so that they can provide to these people, and we now take care of their mentorship and monitoring. We mentor them on how to use this ICT, on how we apply them into the ICT. Then after mentoring them, then we monitor what they do so that they become proactive. This is one of the ways since they are young. Then
it seems we still have the network issue, and Abdul Mukid has started on a very, very good note with issues of mentorship. And you did mention earlier the issue of role model, and then definitely there's that need for the government, or let me say the private organization, creates that platform where we have the mentor-mentee training. But let us get this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Muhammad Awad. I'm calling from Malaysia.
Okay, thank you for calling. Please, can you just move a bit far from your TV or your radio set so that I can get you clearly? But then you can go on with your conversation, please.
Absolutely. My question to the lady, given how she got her first break into the IT sector, what kind of effort does she do as a professional woman, not necessarily from the same sector, doing to bring others like her on board, to listen to them, to see, and sort of get a roadmap? Because if you just think of in this situation, we miss that window, particularly people that carried along due to infrastructure deficit. Right? This is a new platform where you can get other people. What do you think other professional women that have been there before you could do, or what they do to encourage most of the younger ones to come in? More for mentorship and what Abdul Mukid was saying regarding how to get these younger girls in. However, we also need to move that down perhaps left from the government-centric side to the you and I-centric side. If I, as an individual, can just get one tablet, one new device, and get the next different girl in my neighborhood to use it as a stepping stone. I think if we start looking at some of these seemingly futile efforts, it really matter. It may just help in that. And I'm sorry to say, waiting for the government, it does need to be the infrastructure, but we don't have that. I still think it's about self-growth. Just like you care for your neighbor, care for that gifted talent that's near you. And whatever it is, if you've just been able to study a module, pass that knowledge on. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much for joining the conversation, and I believe the guest in the studio, Fatima Mohammed, did hear all he said. And then also, Abdul Mukit, you are there, and he made mention of so many issues, and I believe you also listened carefully to him. And you raised a major issue also, Abdul Mukit, the issue of catching them young. Unfortunately, since the network is bad, and definitely when we reestablish your connection, we'll always ask you your own part of the view. So now, Abdul Mukit raised a major issue, and as I was saying earlier before the caller called, the issue of a mentor-mentee relationship. Now, before you delve into that particular sector, were there anybody in the society you were looking up to, most especially maybe a woman, that you know has done so much in that particular sector?
Definitely. If you're going into tech, there has to be like a mentor for you to like put you through on what you're supposed to do. So for me, it was actually a school colleague of mine who was already in tech that put me through and inspired me that, okay, since you're at home, no job, why don't you start learning these things, and then you can build a career from here. So that helped me. He gave me like a learning path where I can get courses, where I can learn, and where I can register for boot camps and stuff like that. And then I started learning. It was when I actually started learning, that's when I started having contact or seen women in the industry. I actually didn't have, this is where I come with the issue of sensitization. I actually didn't have prior knowledge of women doing, making much difference in the tech world. It was when I actually started in the industry itself, that's when I started like knowing a few of them who are actually making a few differences in the world. So one major person I would appreciate is a lady, Ada. She's the owner of She Code Camp. And She Code Camp is it's like a non-government organization that helps young ladies, encourage them to learn coding. It's a community basically that teaches that it's just basically a community. If you don't know anything, or if you are looking for mentors, you're looking for help towards a particular problem, there's always someone available there for someone available to help you. There's also the Google Women in Tech. That's also a community that is very, very good for women to join if you're trying to build like a career in tech, because you get to meet a lot of women in the industry who will help you and who put you through a lot of this. So basically, one thing I can say is a very good advantage in tech is the fact that there's a large community for people to learn, and the fact that they want to increase the percentage of women in tech. There's a large community specified for women, so that alone is a very good.
Okay, let me go back to Abdul Mukit. Then looking at what we are having presently, you started with the issue of getting the girls to really get to know more about ICT and catching them young. And lastly, I will just ask, just for you to cap it all, because cap it with your earlier admonishment with respect to how we can get the girls back to ICT platform. Now, what would be your advice when it comes to a young girl aspiring to be a tech expert? You've taught we've taught in so many programs, most especially the Google Scholar programs and the rest, and the Microsoft Innovative platform. So what would be your advice when you see a young girl aspiring to be the best in the ICT world?
Sorry, I could actually...
Okay, let me take that back. I said, what would be your advice when you see a young lady trying to get the best in the ICT world, when they're aspiring to be the best in that particular field or sector in the economy? What would be your advice to them?
Wow. I think my advice I'm going to give to any lady or any woman I'm trying to see in the line of ICT nowadays is I will have no advice to give her than to give her a very full kudos and encouragement. I will advise them to keep it on, because now is the 21st century. In the coming 10 to 20 years, probably even if you are not ICT inclined, possibly you'll be left away. You will be a secondary, sorry to say, illiterate. because today ICT globalize everything: education, agriculture, policy making, government, everything is E. So any lady I see in ICT, I'm going to encourage her, because she will definitely be a hot cake to her family, a hot cake to the society, a hot cake to the nation in whole. In fact, she is needed because she has many ways of intruding into any positive way she wants to run her life. And I will encourage her in doing so, and as well tell her that the sky is her limit, actually. Thereby, I'm going to...
Okay, thank you so much, Abdul Mukit, with that summative advice with respect to women in ICT. So let me also go back to Fatima Muhammad. Just in a few seconds, you have so many ladies definitely listening to us this morning. What will you tell them, being a political scientist and now you are fully into ICT?
Okay, so my major advice I'll give is, I know a lot of young ladies are scared to get into tech because of the ideology that it's maths and science, and they feel maths and science is a boys' thing and they can't get into it. Like, if you meet a lot of people in tech, both the men and women, the ones who have been in the industry for a long time, they'll tell you that obviously it is hard, but when you set your mind into it and you decide that you want to do this thing, there's nothing impossible. I always use myself as an example. I had no idea. In secondary school, I wasn't in science class. I was in a social science class. I was in commerce class. And then in university, I studied political science. But today, I can sit anywhere and talk about science. And I can talk about
IT science
and ICT, and confidently speak about it, because I have the experience, because I've been able to push myself towards the limit, and I've been able to build break the barriers and do. And it's not only me, like a lot of people, because to be honest, let's go back to the unemployment climate in Nigeria. It's affecting a lot of young people. And to be honest, a lot of young people who didn't even have an idea what computer is or ICT is, today they are building apps, they are making a difference, and so on and so forth. They are building a brand, creating content, all in the idea of creating ICT. So okay. There's nothing impossible.
Okay, thank you so much, Fatima Muhammad, for joining us this morning on the program, The Roundtable. And also thank you, Abdul Mukit Hussein. I know how difficult it is to get you on this program this morning, but then you always give us your time. Thank you so much. And this is how far we can go today on the program, The Roundtable. My name is Isa Nuhu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.